Well, there they go again. Commander Voxnarium sighed, mandibles clicking in exasperation as he watched the grainy surveillance footage. Those pesky humans just don't know when to quit. The command center of the Galactic Union scout ship Inevitable Conclusion hummed with the soft sounds of machinery. 3 other aliens of varying shapes and anatomies stared at the same screen, equally perplexed. "Remind me why we haven't just, completely wiped them out yet?" asked Lieutenant Krill, his blue tentacles fidgeting nervously with a datapad. "The Council authorized extinction-level events for far less troublesome species." Vox turned his compound eyes toward his second-in-command. "Because, dear Lieutenant, the humans keep surviving everything we throw at them. And I mean everything. It's becoming embarrassing, honestly." "Perhaps we should review the data once more," suggested Science Officer Ploon, her voice like bells tinkling in a soft breeze. The gelatinous pink alien floated closer to the main console, extending a pseudopod to tap several controls. The historical record of our attempts might yield some insight. The main screen flickered, displaying a timeline labeled Human Extinction Attempts, classified Level Omega. "Let's see." Vox pointed a clawed finger at the screen. "Attempt number 1, 75 Earth years ago. We redirected an asteroid toward their planet. By our calculations, it should have caused an extinction-level event similar to what wiped out their dinosaurs." Lieutenant Krill snorted. "And what happened?" "They detected it 6 months before impact, cobbled together a space program practically overnight, and blew the thing to pieces." Vox's mandibles clicked again. "The crazy part? They made a movie about it before they even did it. Called it Preparation or something." "Attempt number 2, Ploon continued, scrolling through the data. "The engineered pandemic." "Don't remind me," groaned Vox. "We spent decades developing a pathogen specifically designed for human biology. It was supposed to be the perfect weapon. Highly contagious. Deadly but slow enough to spread globally before symptoms appeared. And yet?" prompted Security Chief Gornax, speaking for the first time, his gravelly voice rumbling from somewhere within his rocky exterior. "And yet." Vox threw his forearms up in frustration. "They developed vaccines in less than a year. A year. Do you know how long it takes most species to develop vaccines? Centuries. But humans? They just figured it out. Then they adapted their entire society, worked together despite all their bickering, and overcame it." Krill tapped his tentacle thoughtfully against his breathing apparatus. "What about attempt 3? The climate destabilization plan?" "Oh, that was my favorite," Vox said sarcastically. "We spent 50 years subtly manipulating their atmosphere, increasing carbon dioxide levels, melting ice caps, raising sea levels. It was the perfect plan, slow enough that they wouldn't notice until it was too late." "But," Gornax rumbled. "But they did notice. And instead of dying like they were supposed to, they revolutionized their entire energy infrastructure in a single generation. They went from burning fossil fuels to having fusion reactors and quantum solar arrays. They not only stopped the climate shift, they improved their planet's atmosphere beyond pre-industrial levels." Ploon's gelatinous form rippled in what might have been laughter. "And now look at them. They have established colonies on 3 planets and 7 moons in their system." The screen showed footage of human habitats on Mars, gleaming domes under the red sky. Another feed displayed the massive floating cities in the clouds of Venus. "It defies all logic," Vox muttered. "Their biology isn't particularly impressive. They are fragile. No natural armor, no claws, mediocre senses. Their only real advantage is their endurance, but plenty of species can outrun them. It's their adaptability," Gornax said, "and their ridiculous optimism. They treat every disaster as a challenge, not an ending." "Well, the Council is getting impatient," Vox said, flicking through more reports on his personal screen. "They want Earth and its resources added to the Union within the next 5 cycles. One way or another." Krill's tentacles twisted in what his species used as a shrug. So what's the new plan? What's attempt number 4? Vox gestured to another screen showing a massive ship in orbit around one of Jupiter's moons. That is the Harbinger of Dawn, the most powerful warship in the Union fleet. It carries enough firepower to crack a small moon. The plan is direct this time, no subtlety. We announce ourselves, demand surrender, and if they refuse, we glass their major cities one by one until they comply. And if that doesn't work? Plune asked. Then we glass all their cities, Vox replied grimly. The Council would prefer to incorporate their technology and labor into the Union, but they have decided humans are too unpredictable to be allowed to develop independently any longer. When do we proceed? Gornax asked. Vox checked the chronometer. The Harbinger will be in position to begin the assault in approximately 3 Earth days. Our mission is to continue observation and provide tactical data for the attack. A sudden alarm blared through the command center. Red lights flashed as Krill rushed to a console. Commander, we have a security breach. Something just attached itself to our hull near the primary sensor array. Show me, Vox ordered, striding to Krill's station. The exterior camera feed showed a small craft, clearly of human design, magnetically attached to their hull. As they watched, a hatch opened and a figure in a sleek spacesuit emerged, carrying some kind of tool. Impossible. Vox hissed. Our cloaking technology is the most advanced in the known galaxy. They shouldn't be able to detect us, let alone find us and dock with our ship. They appear to be installing something on our hull, Plune observed. Some kind of device. Gornax, dispatch security drones immediately, Vox ordered. Krill, initiate emergency protocols. Lock down all systems. Gornax's rocky fingers danced across his console. Drones deployed. The screen showed 3 spherical security drones emerging from ports in the hull, weapons primed as they approached the human intruder. To everyone's shock, the humans simply turned toward the drones, pointed a small device, and all 3 immediately went dark, drifting uselessly in space. What just happened? Vox demanded. Some kind of localized EMP, Plune suggested, analyzing readings. But far more sophisticated than anything humans should possess. The human finished installing the device, gave what appeared to be a jaunty wave to the camera, and returned to their craft. Within moments, it detached and sped away. Track them, Vox ordered. Unable to comply, Krill reported. Our sensors are malfunctioning. The device they installed appears to be interfering with our systems. Suddenly, all screens in the command center flickered and went dark. When they came back online seconds later, they all displayed the same image, a human face, female, with dark skin and curly hair cut short. She wore what appeared to be a military uniform with insignia unfamiliar to any of them. Greetings, Galactic Union vessel, the human said, smiling pleasantly. I'm Admiral Maya Jackson of the Earth Defense Force. We have been aware of your presence for quite some time now. Vox felt his blood run cold. How is this possible? He whispered. The human continued as if she'd heard him. We have also been monitoring your communications with your fleet. Particularly interesting was the data regarding your previous attempts to, help us along to extinction. Very creative approaches, I must say. The asteroid was particularly ambitious. They have been intercepting our transmissions, Plune whispered, horrified. And that big nasty warship you have got hiding behind Europa? The harbinger of whatever? We have been keeping an eye on that too, Admiral Jackson continued. You really should find better hiding spots. Vox found his voice. This is Commander Voxnarium of the Galactic Union scout vessel Inevitable Conclusion. You are interfering with official Union business. Remove your device from our hull immediately and surrender yourself for questioning. Admiral Jackson laughed. Oh, I don't think I will be doing that, Commander Vox. Instead, I will be extending an invitation. In exactly 48 hours, The representatives from Earth will be arriving at your Union Council's headquarters on Nexus Prime to formally introduce ourselves to the galactic community." "That's impossible," Krill sputtered. "Nexus Prime is 17 light-years from Earth. Even with our fastest ships, that journey takes weeks." The Admiral's smile widened. "Yes, well, we have made some advances in propulsion technology recently. You will see." "This is absurd," Vox declared. "Humans do not possess faster-than-light technology. Our intelligence is quite clear on this. Your intelligence," Admiral Jackson said, "is outdated. Which isn't surprising considering you have been relying on the same cloaking technology for the past century without any significant upgrades. Did you really think we wouldn't notice a ship hanging around our system for years? We detected you before you even crossed the orbit of Pluto." Vox exchanged alarmed glances with his crew. The implications were staggering. "As for your Harbinger of Dawn," the Admiral continued, "I should mention that we have taken the liberty of temporarily disabling its weapons systems. Just a precaution, you understand. We'd rather our first official contact with your Union be diplomatic rather than messy." "You are bluffing," Gornax rumbled. "No species could develop technology to neutralize our most advanced warship without us knowing." The screen split, showing the Harbinger of Dawn alongside Admiral Jackson. As they watched, the massive warship's exterior lights flickered and went dark. When they came back on, the characteristic glow of its main weapon ports remained extinguished. "Still think I'm bluffing?" Jackson asked. Vox felt a sensation he hadn't experienced in years: fear. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice much quieter now. "We want what most species want, Commander. To live in peace, to trade, to learn, to grow. We have been watching your Union for decades, trying to understand why you seem so determined to wipe us out before even saying hello. It's not very neighborly." "The Council," Vox began. "The Council will meet with our representatives in 2 days," Jackson interrupted. "And they will discover that humans make much better friends than enemies. The device attached to your hull isn't just for communication. It contains data packets with Earth's history, culture, scientific achievements, and a formal request for diplomatic relations." "And if the Council refuses?" Plune asked. Admiral Jackson's expression turned serious. "Let's just say we'd strongly prefer the diplomatic approach. Very strongly. The alternative would be unfortunate for everyone." The implicit threat hung in the air like a toxic cloud. "Now, you are welcome to continue observing us from a distance, Commander Vox. In fact, I encourage it. You might learn something. But any further attempts to help us along to extinction will be met with a response. Are we clear?" Vox could only nod. "Excellent. I look forward to our species working together in the future. Who knows what we might accomplish." "Oh, and Commander, the device will detach itself in 24 hours, returning full functionality to your systems. Consider it a gesture of good faith." Jackson out. "Yons." The screen returned to its normal display, leaving the 4 alien crew members staring at each other in stunned silence. Finally, Krill spoke. "So, what do we tell the Council?" Vox sank into his command chair, suddenly feeling every one of his 342 years. "We tell them the truth. The species that refused to die is coming to dinner, and they are bringing a very big stick." "Perhaps," Plune suggested, her gelatinous form rippling thoughtfully, "we should reevaluate our approach to humanity. If they have managed to develop technology that can neutralize our finest warship, imagine what we might learn from them as allies. Or what they might do to us as enemies," Gornax added grimly. "Either way," Vox concluded, staring at the blue-green planet displayed on the main screen, "the galaxy is about to change, and humanity will be the ones changing it." As the inevitable conclusion drifted in Earth's orbit, powerless and exposed, Vox couldn't help but appreciate the irony. They had come to observe the extinction of a species, only to witness its ascension instead. The species that refused to die wasn't just surviving anymore, it was thriving. And the universe would never be the same. The Grand Council chamber of Nexus Prime was in absolute chaos. "Order! I demand order!" shouted High Counselor Seat Vapor, slamming his ceremonial gravity hammer against the floating podium. The sound reverberated through the massive dome-shaped room, temporarily silencing the 147 representatives of the Galactic Union. "This is unprecedented," bellowed Counselor Grath of the Varkonians, his scaled skin flushing purple with rage. "No primitive species has ever dared to invite themselves to a council meeting. And certainly not by disabling one of our warships," added Ambassador Plex Turo, her 6 eyes blinking asynchronously in distress. Commander Voxnarium stood at attention before the council, feeling distinctly uncomfortable as the target of so many angry stares. His report on the human encounter had been met with disbelief, then outrage, and now something approaching panic. "The evidence is clear," Vox stated, gesturing to the holographic displays showing the disabled harbinger of dawn. "The humans detected our presence despite our cloaking technology, intercepted our communications, neutralized our most powerful warship, and somehow developed faster than light travel without our knowledge. These are not the actions of a primitive species." "Preposterous," scoffed Counselor Vral 8, his mechanical body whirring as he leaned forward. "Our intelligence reports indicate humans only achieved rudimentary space travel within the last century. It's simply impossible for them to have advanced so quickly." A new voice cut through the chamber, calm but commanding. "Perhaps your intelligence reports need updating, Counselor." All eyes turned toward the entrance where a small delegation of 5 humans stood. They wore what appeared to be formal attire, crisp blue uniforms adorned with minimal insignia and gleaming silver pins. At their lead was the woman Vox recognized as Admiral Maya Jackson. The council chamber erupted again, voices shouting in dozens of languages demanding explanations, issuing threats or calling for security. Seat Vapor slammed his hammer 3 more times. "Silence." As quiet descended, the High Counselor fixed his compound eyes on the human delegation. "You were not granted permission to enter this chamber," Admiral Jackson smiled pleasantly. "We did send ahead a formal request to address the council. When we received no response, we assumed it was acceptable to proceed as scheduled. Your request was being processed," Seat Vapor replied stiffly. "For 48 hours?" Jackson raised an eyebrow. "Your bureaucracy must be even more extensive than ours." And that's saying something. One of the humans behind Jackson, a tall man with pale skin and red hair, coughed in what sounded suspiciously like a suppressed laugh. Seat Vapor's antennae twitched in irritation. "You stand before the Grand Council of the Galactic Union, representing over 200 civilized species across 12,000 star systems. You will show proper respect." Jackson nodded. "Of course. Please accept our sincere apologies for any protocol breaches. Earth is new to galactic diplomacy after all." She stepped forward and bowed formally. "I am Admiral Maya Jackson, representing the United Earth Government. With me are Dr. Theo Alvarez, our Chief Science Officer General Zara Okonjo, Head of Military Operations, Diplomatic Envoy Raj Patel, and Technical Director Finn O'Sullivan." Each human nodded as they were introduced. Vox noted with interest that they represented different phenotypes of their species' various skin tones, builds, and features. A deliberately diverse delegation, then. "How did you find this location?" demanded Counselor Vral 8. "The coordinates of Nexus Prime are among our most closely guarded secrets." Dr. Alvarez stepped forward, adjusting his glasses. "Your encryption algorithms are quite elegant, but they are based on quantum entanglement principles that we transcended approximately 15 Earth years ago. We have been monitoring your communications network since then." A shocked murmur ran through the chamber. "Impossible," sputtered Plex Turo. "Even our most advanced member species haven't broken quantum encryption." "With respect, Ambassador," Alvarez replied, "your most advanced member species haven't needed to. The Union provides them with all the technology they require. Earth, on the other hand, has had to innovate independently and under constant threat of extinction, I might add." "Which brings us to the primary reason for our visit," Jackson said, her pleasant demeanor shifting to something harder. We'd like an explanation for why the Union has attempted to exterminate humanity 3 times without any prior contact or declaration of hostilities. The chamber went silent. Seat vapor's antennae flattened against his head. I don't know what you are talking about. The Union is a peaceful federation. Please, Jackson interrupted. Let's not waste time with denials. We have extensive documentation of each attempt, including communication logs between your vessels and this council authorizing the operations. With a gesture from O'Sullivan, holographic projections appeared around the chamber, displaying intercepted communications, surveillance footage, and data logs, all clearly showing the Union's involvement in the asteroid redirect, the engineered pandemic, and the climate destabilization. These acts, continued Jackson, her voice now ice-cold, constitute crimes against sentience under your own galactic charter, Section 12, Paragraph 8. No species shall be targeted for extinction or subjugation without unanimous council approval, and only in cases of extreme threat to galactic stability. Vox was impressed. They'd even studied Union law. Councillor Grath snarled, Humans are a threat to galactic stability. Your rate of technological advancement is unprecedented and dangerous. You developed nuclear weapons less than a century after discovering electricity. Every predictive model shows humans dominating the galaxy within 500 years if left unchecked. Jackson tilted her head. So you tried to exterminate us because we learned too quickly? Because you are unpredictable. Seat vapor snapped. Because your species thrives on conflict. Every other spacefaring race achieved unity before reaching the stars. Humans? You went to your moon while pointing thousands of nuclear weapons at each other. Your entire history is warfare, conquest, and destruction. And survival. General Okonjo spoke for the first time, her voice deep and resonant. Don't forget survival. Every catastrophe, natural or Union-made, has only made us stronger, more innovative, more unified. Diplomatic envoy Patel stepped forward, his hands spread in a conciliatory gesture. We understand your concerns. Truly, we do. Human history is indeed filled with conflict. But it's also filled with cooperation, art, philosophy, and a persistent drive to improve. You judged us solely on our capacity for destruction while ignoring our capacity for creation. Pretty words, scoffed Vral 8. But facts remain facts. Your species represents an unprecedented risk to your control of the galaxy, O'Sullivan interrupted bluntly. The technical director had been quiet until now, but his piercing blue eyes swept across the council. Let's be honest here. This isn't about protecting galactic stability. It's about protecting your power structure. More murmurs filled the chamber, some sounding distinctly affirmative. Jackson raised a hand. We didn't come here to assign blame or demand reparations for your attempts to wipe us out. We came to offer partnership. That silenced the chamber again. Partnership? Seat vapor repeated skeptically. Yes, Jackson confirmed. Earth formally requests membership in the Galactic Union with all rights and responsibilities thereof. Absolutely not, Grath bellowed. After everything you have just accused us of? You expect to join our union? The alternative, General Okonjo said quietly, would be considerably less pleasant for everyone involved. The implied threat hung in the air. Fox, who had been silently observing, suddenly understood. You need our star maps and trade routes, he said. You have developed faster than light travel, but you don't know where to go. Jackson gave him an approving nod. Perceptive, Commander Vox. Yes, we have mastered the how of interstellar travel, but the galaxy is vast. We could explore independently, but why reinvent the wheel? The Union has 10,000 years of cartographical data. That's valuable. And what do we get in return? Asked Plex Turo skeptically. Dr. Alvarez smiled. Technology exchange. Medical advances. Our FTL drive alone would revolutionize Union transportation. It's twice as fast as your current models and requires half the energy. Councillor Vral 8's mechanical body straightened with interest. You would share such technology? With appropriate safeguards, yes, Jackson confirmed. Earth doesn't seek dominance, counselors. We seek partnership, mutually beneficial cooperation. And if we refuse? Seed Vapor asked, his voice low. Jackson sighed. Then we continue independently. We explore, we map, we build. Perhaps we form alliances with other non-union species or worlds. But I must caution you, any further aggressive action against Earth will be met with immediate and proportional response. Is that a threat, Admiral? Grath growled. A statement of fact, Counselor, Jackson replied calmly. We disabled your warship as a defensive measure, not an offensive one. We could have destroyed it. We didn't. That should tell you something about our intentions. Diplomatic Envoy Patel stepped forward again. High Counselor, esteemed members of the Grand Council, we stand at a crossroads. One path leads to cooperation, mutual benefit, and peace. The other, well, humanity has survived 3 extinction attempts already. We are quite good at surviving. The question is, what comes after survival? A tense silence filled the chamber as the council members exchanged glances. Finally, Seed Vapor spoke. The council will recess for deliberation. You will have our answer in 1 standard cycle. Jackson nodded. Thank you, High Counselor. We will await your decision. As the human delegation was escorted to waiting quarters, the council chamber once again erupted in arguments. Vox slipped away, following the humans at a discreet distance. In a quiet corridor, he approached them. Admiral Jackson? The 5 humans turned, eyebrows raised in mild surprise. Commander Vox, Jackson acknowledged. Following us for a specific reason? Curiosity, Vox admitted. You have thrown the most powerful governing body in the galaxy into complete disarray. I'm impressed. O'Sullivan grinned. It's somewhat of a human specialty. May I ask you something? Vox inquired. Something off the record? Jackson nodded. Of course. How did you really do it? Develop so quickly, I mean. Most species take thousands of years to progress from basic flight to interstellar travel. Humans did it in less than 2 centuries. The 5 humans exchanged glances, seeming to have a silent conversation. Necessity, Dr. Alvarez finally said. When the asteroid came, we had no choice but to accelerate our space program. When the pandemic hit, we had to revolutionize our medical technology. When the climate began changing, we needed new energy sources immediately. You pushed us to the brink repeatedly, General Okonjo added, and in doing so you eliminated our luxury of gradual development. There's an old human saying, Raj Patel said with a smile. Pressure makes diamonds. Every crisis forced us to innovate or die. We chose innovation. But surely other species faced similar pressures, Vox argued. What makes humans different? Admiral Jackson considered this. Perhaps it's our contradictions, Commander. We are simultaneously selfish and altruistic, competitive and cooperative, destructive and creative. When threatened, these contradictions don't paralyze us, they energize us. Also, we are stubborn as hell, O'Sullivan added with a laugh. Tell a human something's impossible, and they will immediately try to prove you wrong. Vox's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. The Council fears that quality. The Council fears what it doesn't understand, Jackson corrected gently. But fear is a poor foundation for policy. We are hoping they choose wisdom instead. And if they don't? Vox asked quietly. Jackson's expression turned serious. Then we implement contingency plans. We'd prefer friendship, but we are prepared for alternatives. I see, Vox said, suddenly understanding just how precarious the situation truly was. In that case, I wish you luck, Admiral, for all our sakes. 26 hours later, the Grand Council reconvened. The human delegation stood at the center of the chamber, facing the assembled representatives of the most powerful interstellar government known to exist. High Counselor Seed Vapor looked distinctly unhappy as he addressed them. After extensive deliberation, The Grand Council has reached a decision regarding Earth's petition for membership. The chamber was silent, hundreds of diverse species waiting for the pronouncement that could reshape galactic politics forever. Earth will be granted provisional member status for a period of 5 standard cycles, Teat Vapor announced, his voice carefully neutral. During this time, a cultural exchange program will be established, along with limited technology sharing initiatives under strict oversight. Admiral Jackson maintained a diplomatic poker face, but Vox could see the subtle signs of victory in her posture. Furthermore, Teat Vapor continued, all outstanding extinction authorization orders against Earth and humanity are hereby rescinded. The Harbinger of Dawn will return to Nexus Prime immediately. This is outrageous. Grath burst out. We cannot trust. The Council has spoken, Councillor Grath. Teat Vapor cut him off firmly. The vote was conclusive. Jackson stepped forward and bowed formally. The United Earth government accepts these terms and thanks the Grand Council for its wisdom. We look forward to a productive relationship that benefits all species of the galaxy. As the formalities concluded and various council members approached the humans to introduce themselves, Vox found himself standing beside a smirking O'Sullivan. You knew they would accept, Vox observed. O'Sullivan's eyes twinkled. Let's just say we had reason to be confident. The Council never accepts new members so quickly, Vox pressed. What aren't you telling me? O'Sullivan leaned closer. Did you really think disabling the Harbinger was our only contingency? While the Council was deliberating, 50 Earth ships were positioned near key Union worlds, not as a threat. We'd never harm innocent populations, but as a demonstration of capability. The Council received the data packets an hour ago. Vox felt his 3 hearts skip beats. You are bluffing. Check your personal communicator, O'Sullivan suggested. Vox did, finding a new message with attached images showing sleek human vessels in orbit around some of the Union's most valuable worlds, all taken within the last day. How? Vox whispered, genuinely shocked. The distances involved. Our FTL technology is significantly more advanced than we let on, O'Sullivan said with a shrug. We figured it was best to keep some cards close to the chest, so to speak. Commander Vox, Admiral Jackson called, waving him over to where she stood with several high-ranking council members. These gentle beings were just expressing interest in your first-hand observations of Earth. Would you care to join us? As Vox moved to join the conversation, he realized that the galaxy had irrevocably changed. The species that refused to die had not only survived, they had dictated terms to the most powerful force in known space. And somehow, despite everything, Vox couldn't help feeling that the galaxy might actually be better for it. 3 months later, the first official human embassy opened on Nexus Prime. 6 months after that, the first Union cultural exchange delegation arrived on Earth, greeted by cheering crowds and a global celebration. And Commander Voxnarium, much to his surprise, found himself appointed as the Union's first official ambassador to Earth, at a position created specifically to liaise with the species that had accomplished the impossible. The species that refused to die had found something better than mere survival. They had found their place among the stars.